I'm getting. Hey team, welcome to the second session of the CDS UI. So we're just going to do a quick refresher on the capabilities selection and the properties selection as well. Okay, so in the prototype, current prototype we have, once you select your capability, you have ways to add the instances. And once you select those instances have a set of properties. So first of all, you can rename your instances, and then there are properties that are associated with it or capabilities. You can expand those properties and capabilities, and also name, add different information about them. So in this case, for template artifact, we have capabilities of mappings, and you can upload a template. You can also upload, define what the content would be. So this is this is something that is defined as within a model of the template capability itself, and the users are presented with this model, and they can manage this model itself. Within this specific capability. So I think that is one refresher that we wanted to have yesterday based on the UI discussion. So give me 1 second. Oh, I think I took a screenshot as well. Okay, right. So we said that once you select, once you have that capabilities, the capabilities will have properties, attributes, relationship, artifacts, and interfaces. And that is a sample of how that looks like in this use case. Aricia, does this help? Getting static, Aricia? Can you? I see you're talking, but I'm getting static from your line. Okay. So let's see. Okay, and just to recap yesterday, what we discussed was going into this model, having user select either to upload CBA, clone CBA from existing catalog, or create a new one from scratch. And based on the items they will select, they will have a form, and then they will, be able to manage the metadata of the CBA content they either uploaded or created from a existing one or create from scratch. I think that was yesterday we came up with that design. And I guess today we can focus on the blueprint definition itself. So let me give presentation to Ricia, and we can go back and look at that blueprint definition mockup. Aricia, can you share that mockup again that you had?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. So, shall I share my screen to show the mockup screen?
Yep.
Yeah. We have designed the application Visa template, and we'll have totally 3 steps. So the first step would be like choosing a template and giving metadata for the CBA file. So once we give this, next is like we'll design the actual controller blueprint here, and we'll have a design template here, and the below thing, this won't be an editor. Instead, we'll have the properties and the other parameters for each and every types we are creating. In the third screen would be like test and deploy. And
okay.
As per the suggestion, I have changed the first thing just for review. So, Brinda, this is how you have asked, right? So in the first step, we'll have a template. So once we choose the template, we should be able to enter the details here. And for the first 2 options, the details should be auto-populated. First option and the third one. For the starter template, we need to enter details manually.
Okay. Yeah. And then go to the one. Step 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So once user clicks on that, how you are going to separate? Because by looking that, I don't see what to do. Okay. So it's like option or just wording something or.
Yeah. Actually, for demo purpose, I have given it in a row. We can have it in a column-based manner. So upload template file, we can have it in this part. So when we click, we can drag and drop the CBA file, or you can browse and upload it. We'll have that form here.
Sure.
A text box.
The information, it's like just we want to communicate to that user. Okay, by looking that it should be 3 options. Okay, so user has to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 3 options. That's the first point I want to provide as a feedback here. Okay,
So the starter template will have as a next option. Existing model templates, we should be able to browse it from that. For that only, we can have it as a pop-up, or how can we design that alone? I have after designing this, I got.
Exactly. Only thing is just to make sure that we do not have a pop-up. Okay, so always.
Okay, so similar way like this, we can have that option, or we can have widgets, right?
Yeah, widgets, or it's like a dynamic form. Once user clicks on that particular type, then automatically that form should be displayed below or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we should have another stepper here for this template alone.
Exactly.
Existing model templates alone. Okay.
If user
so after that,
one, then automatically one stack will be there. Okay, just like a form stack, the search stack one more, like enter metadata details, right? So before that, you can have one more stack. If you select that.
Yeah.
You get that?
For this option alone. For these 2, it should go directly to enter metadata details.
Yeah, exactly. Just by selecting the starter template, okay, and the user can directly go there. But if clicks on that existing model, then one more stack will be there just to select that or query from the backend database or SDC. And then after that, it should be a third option for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and choose any. It's like a naming that only thing is. So only I want to understand. There are three options available. By looking that itself, I want to see that there are three options available. So somehow you need to communicate that in the design.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine. And any specific topic that you want to discuss with the backend model? So how? Let me talk about the priority of the UI also. Okay. It is not we want to go in a sequential way. We want to go in a way just one testable iteration kind of. We want to go. Okay, we want to go there. First option we could have that. Okay, full-fledged options. Just we could have like uploading that template. And the second option, I think second option itself, I think you can make it like a second priority. Okay, that first option, it's uploading that blueprint, and then finally going to the test platform and deploy to that runtime platform. So that's the screen I want to concentrate first.
Okay.
You're getting it, right?
Yeah. At least one option should be done simultaneously, right? That's what you're...
Yeah, exactly. Either start a template or this one. Okay, upload option. Two things.
Okay, these two. Okay.
Either. Okay, and then that controller designer we will talk. Okay, we will talk that. Okay, at least know in that graphical designer takes some time. So meanwhile, I want that file editor. Okay, so once the user uploads that, okay, that should be, we need to design that file-based editor. In my backup slide, you could see that, right? So it means like that file of that CPA file should be there, so that user can edit that and then automatically push that edit content, what are the content he has into that runtime platform. Okay, so that's my priority initially. So within this first iteration, so we want to do that.
Okay. You mean?
Yeah, come. So.
This is.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
16. Slide number 16.
16. Okay.
So once the designer, it's like designer you can have. Designer is nothing but the combination of two views basically. So one is a file-based view and another one is graphical view. Okay. The second option. Graphical view, it's user can drag and drop and do the modifications and all, and finally prepare that file, prepare all the contents and keep it in a background. Once user switches to that file mode, file editor based mode, then 16 should come up, so that user can edit it manually also. You get that point, right?
Okay.
Okay, and here you don't want to have a test, deploy, download, and upload. Okay, just remove that 4 options, like upload, download, all. Okay, you can remove all options. Only you can have a file-based hierarchy on left-hand side and just that editor on the right-hand side.
Okay. CPA file-based hierarchy in the sense all the dependent resources, all those.
Folder structure. Yeah. That CPA has a folder structure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that entire folder structure should be there, and then file content should be present there. Once user clicks on the file content, then automatically the file will be displayed. The file content will be displayed on the right-hand side. Okay, so user can edit it, and finally he can move on to the third screen.
Okay.
You get that point, right?
Yeah.
So
finally this one.
That thing, right? The editor itself, that is something that certain users would want to kind of manage, right? Not all users would do this.
Editor is an option for all the users, but most probably they don't touch that. Okay, they don't touch that.
Right. Essentially, to me, that this is like something like a super user would do it.
No, it is like that. Okay, user may think about like a script file. Okay, if user wants to provide a script file, then definitely he needs the editor. okay, and if user is trying to edit that some content, mapping content, okay, then definitely. So it is not like a super user. Whoever having that access to modify that controller blueprint entire CBA file, so he has that access. He should have that access of that.
So can you go back to that view one more time, Aricia?
This one, right?
Yeah. So when we show this in that hierarchy itself, are we gonna allow them to manage the JSON content of that within that hierarchy? Is that what you're saying, Brenda, or is it more of a drag?
It's all content, okay, not only the JSON, because if user is trying to edit that Python file, then it will be a Python. If user is trying to edit a velocity file, then it is a velocity file. If user is trying to edit even JSON, okay, that JSON file or any property file, so that is a view there.
Okay, so this is like similar to what we have as the artifact view itself, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I see.
So that first screen, it's uploading that CBA file, and then that second, actually that second has that second view. It has two views basically. One is the designer view, okay, that is basically for only for definitions and all those mappings and all those information, and then file editor view. That file editor view just gives that information about all the file structures inside the CBA. So it has user can access any file at any point of time and then modify any point of time. So it will be both the designer and then editor should be auto sync together.
So in the screen we can have a menu here, like
So
first by default it opens
so
design view.
Backup file, so they have that view also. They have that view. So how it should.
Which one?
Come down, scroll down, backup.
This one, right?
Yeah, you could see that on the right hand side below the blue bar, you could see that, okay, that view options and the multiple. So like that you can manage that.
Okay.
Okay,
so here we can have two options like this.
No, that is. I'm trying to talk about the below. Okay, on the same line of about file readme, right? You could see that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
so by default it should open design view.
Design
and
view.
if you want editor view,
yeah,
you
exactly.
can click and.
On the right hand side, you could see that I-shaped icon is there, right? I icon.
Yeah.
Similarly, you can have a editor icon. Okay, so once the user clicks on that editor icon, then this file, it will be opened in a file mode, file editor mode. Okay, normally it will be in designer mode, and once user clicks on that file editor, then automatically this should come as a file editor mode, having of left hand side that file hierarchy and right hand side of editor.
Okay.
So you are getting it, right?
Yeah, Brenda.
Okay, so meanwhile, just to concentrate on the editor, okay, and parallelly, it's like we will try to concentrate on the designer also. Okay, my first priority and the first iteration that we want to do, upload, edit that file, and download to the runtime platform.
Okay.
Okay, and any specific properties, anything that you want to discuss with respect to the backend model? Okay, just on high level, I will give some property information, just to get people to a common understanding. Just once again, I will try to explain that model once again. In same line. Yeah. Okay. Just on. Can I? Okay. Let me take the presenter. Okay. So here first we want to make that whenever user tries to create a blueprint definitions, so it has to be in a same structure actually. Okay, that's extension. Okay, so this is the name of the definition. I have already explained that. Okay, this is the name of the blueprint name, blueprint file name or CBA file name. Okay, so you could see that this is the place where we have that, and then for those individual types, then we need to have a separate file in order to just to reduce the size of that main instance and main blueprint. Okay, just to reduce that. So we split that file into right now into three major types. Okay, later point of time, if you are trying to use the capabilities and requirements, then based on that requirement types and it will come. Okay, so if you look into that here, this is the artifact blueprint, so which has a import section. Under that import section, by default, it should have a data types, node types, and artifact types. Okay, if you don't have any artifact type definitions, then definitely artifact type won't be there. Otherwise, okay, these types in the same name will be there. And then artifacts, okay, only it has artifact type definitions. If you look into that, it has artifact type definitions. Okay, here we have a mapping file. Here we have a velocity template, okay, definitions, and then we have a Jython, and then we have a directed graph. And then later point, not in future, it's the component jar. Suppose if you want to build that persona dynamically, then this component jar will come. But right now, don't concentrate on that. Just to concentrate, we are going to concentrate only on four major files. Okay, template, mapping, and then script. Okay, it's a Jython script file. Okay, and then directed graph. Okay, mostly it's four major files that we are going to concentrate. Right. So with respect to artifacts and data type, it's a dynamic data type, so it may grow. Okay, based on your how many parameters that you're trying to define or trying to model. So this may grow. Okay, that's the reason. So we have a data type separate data type file, and then we have a node type file. Node type file, it means like what are the components and what are the VNFs. Okay, that we are using. Everything it's in a type definition. So in that case, we may reduce a lot of size of that main file, that activation file, and it is very easy for transport between one artifact to other artifact by copying this content directly. Okay, so you should be cautious about this file naming convention, and it should be in that definition directory. Any clarification needed with these file names and other stuff? Okay, and okay, now coming back to that next. Okay, now let me talk about the plans also. I think if you look into my draft code, I have implemented a SLI runtime already. SLI runtime for that is a directed graph SLI runtime. So the plans, the directed graph content, okay, it is going to be inside the plans. Okay, so under the plans, try to do that modeling in a DG builder. Later point of time, from the workflow itself, we will generate that XML. But right now, for time being, okay, you can model that flow, that component orchestration flow in directed graph, and it has an option. Directed graph has two options. One is download as JSON and download as XML. Okay, and you want to download both. Okay, why I'm trying to say that you want to download that both, because download XML does not hold that representation of that diagram actually. Okay, only JSON holds that representation of the diagram. Okay, so if you want to have only that runtime, then download that XML as it is. If you want to re-edit once again, you want to take it back to that DG builder and you want to upload and you want to design it back, and once again you want to get it back, then in that case you want to download JSON content also and place it in a plans directory, and most probably we will work from JSON itself directly. Whether we have already done for our internal project, one of our project, from the JSON itself we could dynamically generate that XML and generate or plug that information. Just we will try to include that later point of time, but right now include that XML file and somehow store that JSON file also, okay, so that it will be easy for you to once again go back and edit the content. Okay, I believe that you guys are getting that what I'm trying to say, right? Any questions?
No, this is great. I actually pulled the code and tried your test for DGs. I think I understand how it works, but a more concrete example when ready would be great.
Yeah.
Because I can see the node getting executed. I see how you do the relationship between like the plugin here, for instance, resource assignment, and whatever you have defined in the blueprint itself. So I think I did follow all the relationship there, but I'm not sure about what gets. I mean, I see what gets executed, but I mean, it's just I'm missing a concrete example.
Exactly.
But I think this is very good. Yes.
Exactly. I'm working on that. It's most probably we are trying to publish that code and we are developing also. Yeah, that's the thing. It is a working prototype is there. Only thing is we want to do that implementation. Okay, that takes a time because we need a people to assign and then we need to work on the implementation of resource assignments and netconf and all the other stuff actually. But overall the prototype is there actually. Okay. Thanks a lot,
Yes.
Alex. Okay, for testing this and following me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The point was that I did pull the code and I did test it, and it's pretty neat. I tested that, and I also tested what you provided for Jython support. But there I was more. But maybe we're going to go there later on.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And others, you have any comments so that I will explain this also. Okay, how it is executed and what all the nodes that we are using also. I will try to explain this. Okay. Before that, getting into that, any clarification needed? Okay, that's fine. And so under the plans, we are going to have that XML file. So along that, also you can also keep that JSON file if you need. And I will explain. I will come back the definitions and implementation. Okay, just to show that what I have implemented. Okay. Meanwhile, and the script directory. Okay, this is a directory where you have a Jython scripts. Okay. So the Jython scripts, later we will document that how to implement the Jython scripts and then what in order to get a certain functionality, okay, inside the Jython itself. Okay, you need to import, you need to follow certain best practices and certain format, certain class you want to inherit. So I will explain or we will try to document that. So this is a place, what I am trying to say with respect to UI, this is a place where we will have that Jython scripts basically, okay, and mostly the templates under the template section, okay, the template files will be there, okay, all the template files will be there, all the relevant content and how it is mapped, okay, that template, say for an example, that template base config, right, base config template, how I am going to map that, okay, before that, how I am going to map that artifacts, okay. So assume that this is a directed graph node, okay, activate process is a directed graph node, and then directed graph node includes, it has a property, assume that, sorry, it needs a file content, right? So how we are using that file content, okay, just I am trying to define that one artifact process, okay. So assume that, okay, this is a artifact, I'm trying to define one artifact content, and mapping that artifact content under the plans XML directory. Okay, so under the plans XML directory, I'm trying to map that. So you are able to find a relationship, right? So whenever workflow, okay, so here it's a workflow. Okay, this is a workflow content. Okay, under that workflow we can have a n number of actions. So this is nothing but that action. Okay, we have action and then inputs. Okay, so similarly we can have multiple actions inside in our workflow definition. So one of that is resource assignment and other one is activate. I have the two actions. Okay, you can also define n number of actions, and each may have its own input. So you can have own input, and that step. Okay, just we have under that action we have a steps. Okay, so assume that now we are using a directed graph, but later point of time, if you don't want to use a directed graph from that model itself, you want to dynamically generate the directed graph, then you may have a multiple steps. Okay, since we are using a directed graph, we are not going for the multiple steps because that component orchestration we are doing in a directed graph. Am I clear? Just to stop me if you have any confusion in this point. Okay? Guys, you are clear, right? Okay, let me move on. So we have a step. So always it should be a single step, and then single step always pointing to that target of process actually. Okay, you could see that the target always points to the directed graph node template. Okay, you could see that it's an activate process. Activate process is nothing but a directed graph node template.
Brenda, one question here. For workflows, we're going to have one that does resource assignment, one that does activate process, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to also have one that is a combination of both?
Yeah, you can. That is the definition. Okay, if you have a directed graph both defined, okay, and you can add that action at resolve activate. You can define that action resolve.
Right. Right, and that would be just one ZG, and that ZG will do both resource assignment and it will also do the resource activate, basically.
Exactly. So it depends. Yep. You orchestrate the directed graph, right?
Yep.
Okay. So for that example, I have given a two-step process. Okay, let me show that two-step process also. Okay, in a sample, let me show that. Okay, we have a service logic. Okay, it's like one component. Suppose if you are trying to do a one component orchestration, you could see that one component orchestration here. So you have a one execute, and then plugin. This plugin should match with that node template name. Okay, this node template name, and then you are trying to orchestrate the success and failure here. Okay, so this is one component. Okay, and suppose if you want to include two components, resource activate and resource resolve and activate, then you have a two executes. You could see that. Okay, so that first execute is first node. You are trying to do that, and if it is a successful, then you are going for the second one. Okay, you are going for the second one. Okay, so in that case you can orchestrate. Okay, just I'm trying to show it in XML format, but DG Builder has in a graphical way, so that you can connect that only success failure and then orchestrate only the components, right? You get the point, right?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to, state that as a statement so that folks can follow as well.
Exactly. So in that case, you can orchestrate a number of component orchestration in a DG, a number of components connection you can make it in a DG, and download that content and place it in your blueprint folder so that you can refer that in a blueprint. Okay, so in that blueprint you can refer directly with a single step. Since we are using DG, so we don't want to orchestrate that step in our model. DG holds that model, that orchestration. That's the reason we are leaving up to that DG. But later point of time, once we get a dynamic modeling capability inside that model itself, if you have a graphical user, graphical designer, it's ready, so that we can connect that component in the graph itself in our designer, that second step, right? So that these steps will be automatically generated, so that we don't want to use a DG. Till now, I believe that you guys are okay, right? This relationship. Am I going fast?
So, Brenda, I think this is recording, but I think this is good. So, do we want to focus on the actual blueprint definition?
Exactly. That's the reason I'm trying to explain that. Okay, sure. Just to correlate with that. Okay, coming back, Yuri, you have any specific topic so that I can talk about it, or I can continue in my flow?
Just mainly, I think what we wanted to do is, because we have different sets of UI developers, right? So I wanted to, we have a clear definition of, I think, how the first step is gonna select how you want to upload this CDS content, right? Using upload or using a starter template or using, or creating from scratch or existing. So do we want to also now talk about what are the backend APIs we want to call to start managing the blueprint definition?
Yeah, okay, let me talk about it. Before that, I want to talk about that structures and all those things, so that only I believe we can explain that in a back-end perspective. Okay, what are the changes that we want to do?
Okay.
Yeah. So with respect to model, okay, this is a workflow. Okay, workflow has a action. Okay, so just you guys understand that. Okay, this is nothing but an action name, and the input, it has an input, and then it has a step, and I'm working on that, how to integrate that JMS property, that queue property, that response property also. But till now I am not to that level. So most probably that also, if we could model, then we can avoid hard coding that queues and all stuffs inside, or from a request perspective. Okay, because we don't want to hard code that value from a request perspective. So we want to do modeling also. Just that portion we'll talk later. Other than that, we have a workflow definition, and then we have artifact like those. Okay, you can refer that artifacts, and you can define n number of artifacts to a particular node. Okay, and coming back to that, okay, but Python scripts. Okay, how Python scripts that we are trying to use, how we are going to use that script model. Okay, as you all know that, okay, we have a script model and then a script directory. So this is a script directory where it's high-level information. So you are trying to access or trying to orchestrate that static model. Sometimes what happens to that static modeling, it won't be easy also. Okay, so it has a lot of issues in terms of hand-checking the data and modeling huge number of data. It becomes like so hard for a self-service owner. So in that case, so just we are trying to move certain piece to that dynamic modeling. So that dynamic modeling, it's a Jython script. So you have all required informations inside the Jython scripts. Okay, so that's the reason. So we have that certain architecture called we have some base framework already. We are having that. So that base framework you can refer under scripts. Okay, under the scripts we have a Python. So we have CCSTK blueprints. So what we are going to do, we are going to have some reusable packages like a netconf RPC packages and blueprint runtime services and resolving utility APIs. So all those things, okay, we are going to wrap under CCSTK blueprints. Okay, so in that case, think about like that constants. We have defined the constants. Okay, and then runtime services. We have defined the runtime services. So that inside the Jython itself, you want to set a property or you want to retrieve a property, okay, from a blueprint. So directly use those this utility to retrieve those information. Okay, you could see here, okay, the TPS, and then set a response. Suppose you want to set a response in a Jython script, then you can use those properties here. For that purpose, we have a script. So certain scripts, certain utilities are already available. So only you want to think about in your business functionality and business orchestration inside that Jython script. Okay, not the utilities. If you feel that it is a utility, then come and include that utility here so that it will be reusable for most of the people. And only that blueprint holds only that orchestration or a transaction based or API invocation based kind of API calls inside the dynamic script model, so that script will be very minimal, and then it is not that huge. Okay, and coming back to that, one of that, so it's like we have some abstract blueprint function, so which is nothing but that abstract component function. I think going forward I will talk about this later. So on a high level, we have a reusable framework, a Jython based framework already existing, so that you can use directly inside your blueprint to model the dynamic models, right? Okay. So this is with respect to Python, and how you are referring that Python. Just let me show one example how we are referring that Python. Okay, and for your representation, so you could see that two categories available, that starter blueprints and service blueprint. Okay, service blueprint, it's your specific blueprints, okay, or service specific. It may be your own service blueprints. It will be available, and that starter will be like a reusable blueprints. Okay, so where user can take it and just enhance that existing blueprint and to build their own services. Okay, so that's the reason. So we have two categories. Okay, starter will be default loaded by default, and then service you can manage. Okay, what templates you can load with respect to the service during your build time or during your container creation time. You can manage in a Docker file. Okay, so I manage those informations that later we will talk about specific to that backend microservice. Okay. Other than that, we have a definitions. Okay. So definitions also it's like a type. Okay, we have artifact type, data types, and node types. Okay, that is coming under the starter. Most of the things with the definition type, it is going to be always a reusable thing. Most of the times, 90% it is going to be reusable. Suppose if you feel that that's specific, say for an example, I'm building a component for X services. Okay, that holds a specific node type and specific component. So in that case, you can have a service specific definition type, and then you can include during the container creation only for those persona creation. Okay, and similarly for resources, resource dictionary, I have included all those things under the starter dictionary, but we want to clean it up since I don't have what are all the things specific to this VF virtual firewall. So that's the reason I kept inside, but we want to filter it out only the reusable dictionary to present inside the starter, and service specific dictionaries will come as a separate folder structure, so that while building the persona we can include both the starter and as well as the service specific dictionaries. Okay, so you guys are clear, right? How this model, okay, how model we are having, and then what is the scripts that we are having, and how we are referring those information, right? Coming back, one Python, let me show that one Python, how I'm trying to access that one Python. Okay, you could see that. Okay, this is a component. Assume that, okay, I want to have a resource assignment component as a Python script. So we have a component, okay, and then resource assignment we have and finally that artifacts we have. Okay, this is the artifacts that we have, and okay, let me use this actually. Okay, so with this component script we have a Jython execution component we have, and then you want to look into that implementation. Okay, implementation tells that which script I want to use. Okay, so under the implementation we have a primary. Okay, you can define n number of artifacts, and you can map those artifacts here. Okay, this is the relationship. The primary name, okay, denotes that particular artifact name. Okay, so here it's a file. Okay, this is the file. So it is under the file called script sample Python. Okay, so automatically it looks for the script sample Python and it tries to execute that. Right. So this way we can execute the Jython script. Okay. Meanwhile, I noticed that a lot of issues with the NC client because Jython can't execute C headers actually. Okay, if you look into the NC client, it uses LXML. Just I'm trying to give that one other problem with not able to use the C header Python files, C header Python libraries. Okay. So one good example is LXML. LXML Python it is not written in Python. It has a C header files, executable files used in that, so that we can't execute in Python. So for that reason, okay, you can have a you can build a gRPC, okay, to separate that. You can separate that Python executions and Java executions separately, and you can use gRPC to try to connect or communicate from your component to the Python execution environment. So that's the one sample I'm trying to provide with that. Right now NC client has issues with that because NC client uses LXML. LXML is not a Python file. Okay, so that's the reason. So we want to separate that netconf connections and netconf management server separately with that our blueprint processing platform. And one advantage with that, it's like it becomes a prototype so that you can have n number of netconf management server. It may be Ansible, it may be Chef, or it may be a different execution environment, and it gives a prototype of connecting your backend component to that other execution management servers, okay, like a Chef server, or you can try to connect and then you can make an effective communication. So I'm trying to work on that POC. Okay. Just once I get into that, I'll come. I will explain to you guys. Yeah. So this is with respect to blueprint, and any specific topic I want to discuss, Yuri? I'm done with that models and all those things.
The main thing is the backend APIs we want to call for the blueprint management. Do we want to do that now?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, so can we start? Because essentially, Aricia, can you share the mockups one more time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So can you go back to the ones you created?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, right now we have 3 mockups, right? So what I wanted to, and we have a few set of developers for UI. So what I wanted to kind of make sure that we have a good understanding is for us to start doing the work for the UI layouts and the backend support for for these 3 sets of mockups that we have. So I want to make sure that let's see, who do we have on the call, right? So Aricia, Mario, Yang, Janani, Samunda, and Swapnali have and Vanal have the information they need to do that UI work and the UI with the backend integration for these 3 mockups itself. Okay, so I think we, Aricia, I think you have for the first screen, I think there's a good understanding there.
Yeah. For the first step, I have already started working.
Right. So the question is for the second for the second one, do we need additional clarification to start looking into the controller blueprint designer?
Yeah, me and Arundhati could start doing this step 2.
Okay, so I was thinking, like, how do we partner with Mario and Swapnali to do portions of this screen and another because it sounds like we can separate out the development for some of the sections within this screen and with other sections of the screen as well. So and then there's also the back end itself, right?
Yeah. For the designer part, actually, we have 2 different modes, right? So one mode we can take it up, and the other mode, they can start doing it.
That's a good suggestion. Okay. Maybe that maybe we can go like that itself. Does that sound good, Samundu and Swapnali, Mario, Janani? So I think there's like graphical mode that we can have look at as well. Okay, so essentially, Brenda, can we go over now the backend APIs that need to be integrated for us to support the blueprint designer itself?
Okay. Okay. That Yelil, in your case, first, let me know that in your case what you need first actually. Okay, so it means like if assume that you have a zip file in this structure, whatever I have shown that in a structure. So to extract that zip file, I think you don't need a backend services. From your front end itself, we can extract the content, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can also look into that meta file, that Tasca meta file directly, right?
Yeah, from ONAP Garrett, we can get those files.
No. You can get that file, but I'm talking about that logic-wise. Okay, that logic-wise you are able to extract that content. Okay, once user uploads that zip file, then you can extract in your on the client side itself. You can extract that zip file, and then look for a metadata file. Okay, and then look for the entity definition. Okay.
No.
You are able to get that, right? So for that point, right?
Yeah. So I have a doubt in the step 1. See, like for upload template file, he'll be uploading a zip file with total folder structure, right?
Yeah.
Starter, whatever you have told.
Yeah.
Okay, so here in this part, maybe let's talk about the upload template file. So we'll have a total folder structure.
Yeah.
The next screen, it should be unzipped, and this type of design should be
Exactly.
displayed.
Exactly.
Based on the file structure and the data, whatever they have given.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, I think you don't need a backend API for those just opening and extracting and then displaying that information and just moving on to that second screen, right? You don't need any backend API call.
For uploading, it is fine. Still, if they do some changes, we need to do the validation part, right?
Let me go step by step. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go step by step. So in that case, just uploading, you don't need a backend API. You can extract that content, and then you can display those contents in a file editor on the step 2. Okay. So till to that point, any backend API, any backend services. Okay. And once user edits that content, okay, then user has to do 2 different options. He can perform 2 different things. One is enrich. Okay, he has to do that enrich for deploy or before he creates a final package, and after then he can upload that content to that backend server. Okay, 2 things he can do that, right? Okay, so in that step, you want to have a enrich function. Okay, so enrich function, I'm trying to think of. Okay, so enrich function, just is it possible to upload that zip file directly to the backend server? Whatever
from the content, right?
Content, yeah. What are the latest content? How we want to go? You want to go that enrich content completely in a zip fashion, or only the definition folder? Whatever we have it in a definition folder, just have it as a content, have it as a or form the JSON content and send it back to the server. So how you want to do that? So you want to send that entire zip file once again to the server, or you want to send only the definition file? I believe that the definition file, if you send alone, that is sufficient, I believe, to enrich that. Only the definition
that we can do. Yeah, definition file, we can send it directly.
Yeah, only the definition, that file name, whatever it's having a file name actually. Okay, that is sufficient, right?
Yeah. Actually, in the backend, we don't want the entire file structure as well.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say there. Okay, you want to send only that main entity definition file only. Okay, not even other types file actually. Okay, you get the point, right? So in that case, you want to collect that whatever that edit content. Okay, that node template. Mostly that node templates only user will be editing. Node templates and policy types. Okay, basically it's a service topological template. Okay, topological template definitions only user will edit that most of the times. Okay, and because we are not going to have a service template input, and then topological template input also we are not going to have, only the topological template definitions we are going to use that, okay, to enrich the content. So in that case, you can send only that file of main that artifact or blueprint name file to the backend as a JSON then backend will absorb the data and return multiple things like whatever the folder structure I have shown there, okay, in a multiple tag format. Okay, one is a main content and another one is artifact type, and then artifact section it will return, and then data type it will return, and then node template it will return. Okay, is that you're trying to understand or visualize like what I'm trying to speak, right? Okay,
actually, we'll have script files also, right? Python script files and all. So if the user edits that file, that content also will be sent as a JSON, is it? The same definition.
No, script files we are not doing a enrichment. Okay, just I'm talking about only the enrichment right now. Okay, so enrichment does not it does not take scripts and other inputs. Only it takes that whatever you are trying to design in the screen, the second step. Okay, let me share that.
Yeah.
So coming back to the point, so here we have multiple files, but only this file it's enough to enrich the content. Okay, you don't need this artifact types, node types. Okay, only this is enough. Okay? So you want to convert, you want to take this content. Okay, this file is nothing but that entity definitions, whatever it is defined in that entity. So entity definition. So this is the name of that starter file, or it's like a main blueprint file. There is a main blueprint file. Only this file you want to send that. So that is nothing but this file under the definition. Okay. So here we don't have to define any types here. Only that if you look into that, it has a metadata, it has imports, and then it has a topological template, right? It has a topological template, and okay. Assume that, okay, it has only this information, right? Okay, so what enrichment? I believe that you know about what enrichment is, right? Or I won't explain it again. You guys know about what is enrichment?
Brenda, why don't you go through the enrichment concept, because we have a lot of new folks on as well.
Okay. Okay. So what is enrichment? It's basically it has a certain purpose in terms of usability perspective. Okay. Whenever you are trying to create a model, okay, you are trying to get a model from a backend system. Okay. It is from a backend reusable system. From a reusable system, you are trying to get that. And if you in real operation, okay, you need these definitions also. So it means like whenever you are trying to create an instance, you want to include that type or the definition for that particular instance in your model itself, right? So say for an example, I want to use a particular component, okay, which takes a certain input, and then that particular type, that particular data input, it's like a complex data structure. Okay, then user may end up in identifying, spending a lot of time in identifying that what is the data type and what types that I want to include in the blueprints and all those stuff. Okay, so it creates a then it becomes a more complex for the user to understand that entire information and try to gather those information. It's a time consuming, and as well as it is not in a usability perspective, it is not good. So what we have a certain function called enrichment. So enrichment means automatically you are trying to retrieve the definition from a system, but you don't want to attach, or you don't want to resolve that definitions, other dependency definitions for those particular component or particular type. Okay, so you can subject to a particular API, you can send to those API. That API will resolve all the dependencies for you and attach that content for you. So you, in that case, user need not to bother about the content, okay, or whatever the type I want to attach to the particular instance that I'm going to create, right? This is the first point. Okay, this is the first necessity for the enrichment functionality. You guys are okay, right? You are able to understand that why? Okay. Simple example. In this case, I have a node template. Okay, node template, and I'm saying that node template, and I'm saying that I'm trying to use a component resource assignment. This component resource assignment defines that information about what is the input and what is the output. Okay, so this holds that information about what is the input and output and what this has to look like. So what background it will take? It will understand that node template and it will understand that component resource type, and it automatically populates that component resource assignment in this file itself under the node type section. Okay, it automatically populates this section. Okay, this section has a dependency. So you could see that. Okay, it has a definition. It has all information support those in particular inputs, output, interface, operations, and all those stuff. Okay, it has that. Okay, so in that case, if you feel that one of the structure data type, okay, here we are using not a string, it is a complex structure, then you may end up in try to resolve that information also manually. But if you try to use that enrichment process, it resolves for you and directly and automatically it populates the data type for you, and then it will return that entire content necessity to whatever necessary content to process this particular blueprint, that is node template, right? So that is the reason we have an enrichment function, just to have in a usability perspective for the user, it resolves all the dependency so that you no need to concentrate on the dependency. Being a user, you no need to concentrate on those dependencies. Just to concentrate on only node template and instance population or instance mapping, okay, or expression population. That's it. Okay, you don't want to bother about the rest of the types. Okay, which is a complex one for you to understand, for you to find the dependency. It's a time consuming, a lot of stuff. That's the reason we have enrichment. Okay, that is for one. And it also performs certain functionality, certain other functionality. Think about, like, you have a particular instance, and then you want to right now day by day. It's like, for every release you are trying to increment or change the backend definitions for those particular component. Okay, in that case, if you try to do an enrichment process, then it takes the latest and automatically fills in your template. Okay, and automatically it can suggest or it can tell that your template is having issue, it is not matching with the latest one, so try to fix that issue. So in that case, auto functionality also, auto migration also, another advantage that we are getting with that auto migration functionality, so that if there is no issues, then automatically migrate your template to your latest version of the backend component definitions, the data types, and all those things. If there is any problem, then automatically it will suggest you to fix that issue, and it will try to proceed to that latest version, so that you can reduce the number of running instance on the production, okay, or managing multiple versions on the production with respect to the templates. Okay, that is the second. These two motivations, it bring us to have an API called enrichment API or optimization API, you could say. Clear? So that enrichment function with respect to the UI has to send only that node template or topological information, only the topological information, okay, topology template information. Then automatically, okay, it can derive all the rest 3 files. Okay, no need to derive these 3 files manually. So the backend system will derive these 3 files and then return to you, so that you can automatically include those definitions in your blueprint.
So in this case, for upload, he can just upload this activation blueprint if he has, right? Only this file.
Exactly. You can send it as JSON itself.
So, okay, it need not be a zip file, and we can avoid the unzipping, functionality also.
Exactly. Only right? That validation only we need that. Okay. That too during the publish only. Okay. During the publish only it tries to validate. Okay. Before that it is not going to validate. Okay, so for enrichment function, just only send that activation blueprint.
But Brenda, what Arisa mentioned that as part of upload, is it gonna send a zip file or just JSON content?
Only the JSON content of activation blueprint.
as part of upload itself, and then you're saying that enrichment will handle all the dependency.
All the dependencies, and then it will return a JSON content, okay, having the tag for artifact types and having the tag for data types, node types, and then artifact blueprints.
So you're saying there are 2 use cases then for upload. You can upload the entire zip file?
No. Enrichment perspective, we don't want entire upload. Only you want to send as a JSON content.
Yeah, I understand enrichment, but the question was for uploads. When you do before you call enrichment, right?
No, wait a second. Upload is not part of this enrichment, right? Upload is a step.
Yeah, I agree. But what Aricia mentioned was that as part of the upload is zip file always, right? It's not JSON content.
It is not JSON.
Okay. I think that I just want to make sure that was clear. So upload is zip, and enrichment is the JSON content, and you're just sending the specific, in this case, activation blueprint, and that will resolve all the dependency within that JSON content.
You guys clear, right?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused now. So in step 1, he will be uploading a zip file or a JSON, this activation blueprint JSON alone.
Okay.
Or we'll have a separate option for this option, activation blueprint. He wants to generate the file structure.
Okay, forget about all those things. The first option is upload, that is a zip file. It is not going to take individual file. Okay, it is a zip file in this content, like this content. Okay, so it will be a base config.zip.
Okay.
You're clear, right?
Yeah.
Brinda, one more thing. It will be an upload of a zip, but that zip may not need to contain all those JSONs. It may only need activate.
Exactly.
Activation
the point
blueprint.
Is you may need only that activation blueprint.
Yes, and then we will run enrichment that will auto-generate artifact type, data type, and node types.
Exactly. So that initial package should have this Tasca meta. Okay, this Tasca meta and definitions. Okay, these 2 things it should have. Okay, because from the Tasca meta only, then we are referring that what is the main start file for this. You're noting down, right?
This data will have it in activation blueprint itself, right?
Which data? No. Okay, so think about like
Tasca.meta.
This is nothing but this data will be derived from this meta only. Okay, so meta will be overridden here. Okay, here this will be overridden from meta.
Okay.
This will be overridden from meta.
And one more clarification, Brenda. When they do the upload, we're going to call enrichment right away, right? As part of that upload process?
No, it is not necessary actually. That's what I'm trying to say. Once you upload, okay, and then you can edit and then you can do that enrichment. Immediately you no need to do that enrichment.
Okay, so I guess the question is, at what step in the GUI would trigger the enrichment process?
Under the second section, okay, once you move on to the second screen, you have that freedom to do enrichment at any point of time.
Okay. So as the user goes to the second screen, that's when we do the enrichment. We can do enrichment if there's upload content.
Exactly.
At that point. Okay.
If you are clear, right? I can explain it if it is not clear.
So basically, if he's going to start from the scratch, so that time we'll be using the enrichment, right?
Yeah, mostly. Or migration. That's another step I said. No, migration. Or if he wants to validate it with the latest content present in the server, latest type definition present in the server.
Okay.
Or user may edit that also. Okay. User may wants to add that extra information also. Edit also. Okay.
Yeah, if the enrichment can be used, if he has the JSON file, why can't we use for the upload template itself?
Which one?
I'm just asking.
No.
Yeah,
It should be.
He's uploading a zip, right? Instead of that, he can just upload this activation blueprint if he has it ready, and he can generate the file structure online, right?
Now think about like, okay, if the zip contains a plan and script files already, okay, assume that, okay, user wants to edit that existing content, okay, so in that case, you can't provide only this alone because it has to work. If you are starting from scratch, okay, you may need activation blueprint alone, that's fine. But think about the edit, okay, you have already existing content and then you want to add extra action on top of that. So in that case, you can upload that content as it is and just add only that extra component needed. At that time, if I do that enrichment, only these three things will be updated, and rest of the things it will be same, right? Did you get that or?
Yeah, one more dot I have. So if he is going to create this activation, I know he has the activation blueprint and all the file structure. In the DB, nothing will be there, right? So we need the script files also, or
that
it
user will enter that. User
no,
will create a new script file. That's the reason file editor is there, right?
Yeah. So in that case, for uploading in the DB, we want to send as a zip file to the backend, right?
Yeah.
Whole file structure should be sent.
Exactly. That save option, it's a zip file. Okay, save and validate, it should be a zip file. I'm talking about only enrichment. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
We will talk about that save and this one, okay? Save and validation later.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Because no, right now the priority it's enrichment, okay? And then upload, and then finally download as a zip file or download to your platform. That's it. That initial to test one test case.
Yeah, okay, Brenda. I got it.
Okay, once you enrich that, I can download from the tool itself and then directly I can take it to platform. Just it's like, no, I'm with respect to I'm playing with the time actually. Okay, how soon that I can test that UI and make use of the platform. Clear? Okay. So I think we can start this point and then talk about that task and talk about that work allocations and talk about the user story. Okay. So with this step, let me pull out that. Okay. Gear it. Okay. So that we can create a user story and then we can start working. You want to handle that?
You want me to open the, what is it, the Jira?
Yeah.
For the, let me see let me pull up the spreadsheet.
No, just go to the Jira itself. That directly that particular tool you have that, right? Particular link you have provided. Jira.
Yeah, I can do that as well. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so let's see.
Can you give that link so that I can also edit and add that? Okay. So it is.
You want this link?
I know that. What is the user story for that? Yeah. Particularly that tool link. Okay.
Yep, I put it on the web chat. So I'm going to open the spreadsheet so I know exactly which user story is UI.
Okay, that's fine.
And then we can go back to the actual Jira itself. So these are the UI user stories, right? So for control design, so okay, UI. So I guess for now we can skip AF and OM implementation. We'll just focus on these items below, right?
I have already mentioned as 1, right, already.
Say that one more time.
I mentioned as a 1, that priority 1 already is there, right? Okay, so you have 11. Okay, just to take that 11 first. CBA export, 703.
11. Okay.
11, yeah. Okay, that is the first one. Okay, uploading that CBA file. Sorry, it's like exporting or uploading that CBA file.
Okay. So this one already Ricia is working on, right?
So no, just check that in that Jira whether it is assigned or not. Yeah.
Sure.
Please go and create. If you not find the right description, you guys can create your own task, subtask, okay, to match the commits. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now it's not assigned to anybody.
No, not high level. You can do that because it may have a multiple subtask. Okay, just to create a subtask for that and then try to assign it.
So, Brenda, is the 703? It looks like it's a it's like a parent user story. It's not even the export file. So you're saying create the subtask for CBA export file?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
The 3 there. Okay, 3 user stories. The 3 capabilities are.
So let me add the subtask.
And you guys know that where exactly that code location should be? Where to build this?
It should be in the CCA SDK CDS.
Yeah. Okay. Just to mention that, and before that, who is going to design that module structures and all those things? Because you should not put under root. You should have a common framework like a reusable perspective, and then main core perspective, backend perspective. So who is going to take the design of that? Okay, before starting this, okay, who is going to design that model structure?
Do we have any volunteers?
As I have started, yeah, I have started already, so I'll design it.
Yeah, exactly. But this is very important, Elil. You should think about that entire structure should be reusable for the entire CDS UI. So you want to think about the backend modules, okay, introducing backend modules, Maven structure, okay, build perspective, and then container perspective, building a container perspective, and all those things, building a Docker, okay, all those perspectives you want to think it and try to group that modules, okay, and try to group the packages also. Packages are projects, separate projects, and just explain to all in a next meeting, okay, so that everyone can understand how that structure should be, and then we can discuss on those topics, right?
Okay.
Okay, and create a task for that, Yuri. Okay, it's like a generic task.
Do you want me to create it under this CDS UI blueprint archive capability or some other?
Look in that Excel sheet where we have any generic support. I believe you have that earlier one user story. Okay, just CDS UI user story. Generic.
Right. Let me. I'll take a look. So just a task for the folder structure creation, right?
Yeah, also, I have worked on this design part and all, right? So can I get somewhere, to upload all the things I have done?
Yeah, exactly. You can use that. Try to design it and try to make use of that. Yeah. Okay. And you won't get a new directory structure also. So that within this structure itself, you want to manage that.
I have a question regarding this. So because this CBA file, right, will be also propagated to obviously to runtime, right?
Yeah.
So the same structure will be, because right now we're talking only about the design time, right? Like, so this is so we should somehow parameterize it, maybe I don't know, in property file or something. So we will follow the same structure as what is being done on the design time.
Yeah, but I feel that design time and UI, it's a two different technology itself altogether. That's the reason someone who is having a UI expert can tell that, okay, how it should be, how that component should go, where that widget will be there, where the modules, where the service it has to go.
I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to okay. So you're referring here only. But referring to the structure of the UI, not
Exactly.
the structure of the CBA file itself. Okay, good. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay, so right now, I guess the CBA import file, that's the one, Arissa, you're working on, right? We can say? And file archive support, control blueprint archive.
Yeah.
Better, Yuri, I think rename that import and export because people may have a different confusion, okay, with the import and export. Okay, you can have
you say upload?
And upload and download, yeah.
Okay.
Because now import, it is export. Okay, yeah, you can interchange that word, yeah. Download and upload, so that it will be easy for everyone to
CBA. So upload. So I'll just say CBA, creation of CBA file, CBA file, zip file, upload. Okay, does that make sense? So one is creation of CBA file and CBA zip file upload, and the other one is going to be CBA zip file download. And yep, that one.
Brenda, actually, CBA download will be as part of the last step, right?
Last step, third step.
Okay.
Yeah, third step. You can take that particular user story at later point of time, but yeah, it's just for tracking perspective.
Okay. And Arisia, I assigned you to the upload file one. Let's see. For I guess for download and test and deploy, we don't want to do it in this iteration itself? Or we want to go for, I think, Brenda, you said you want to, for this iteration, just do upload?
Yeah, we want to do upload, file edit, and download.
File edit and download, all right. So let me see which user story had file edit.
File edit and enrich also.
So basically these here, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Enrich.
Okay, sixth one talks about general file editor, and then seventh one talks about file editor specific to the particular technology. It's like extension, adding that extension for that.
Okay, so
Six, yeah.
we need number 6, right?
Yeah, only 6. I think it's right now. It's enough.
All right, so this is number 6. Okay. And this is the graphical view. This was the other mechanism, right? We needed as well.
Exactly. That is different. We'll do it in a second iteration.
Okay. So, but this one is different user story.
Yeah. That is 705.
Okay. Which other ones we need, Brenda, for the first iteration?
And download. Okay. Only enrichment. We have enrichment API.
I don't.
Okay. Export. One second. I'm trying to look into that. Okay. Yes. Send action is different. Okay. You can add in that itself. That CBA enrichment. Okay. That user storage.
Okay. So in here, what I'll do is add one more subtask.
Enrich functionality for.
Support enrich functionality for, should I say CBA file?
Yeah, for CBA.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will try to put a comment over there.
Okay. Now, who's gonna? I guess Samundo, can you help with some of the support for enrichment functionality, or Aricia, were you planning to do that as well? I guess the question
you can assign it to Arundhati. She's from my team only, so we will work on it.
Okay.
Enrichment.
Arundhati Patel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And all right. And what was the other one we needed? It was the download, you said, Brenda?
Yeah, download. Yeah.
Okay. So who can help with the download one? Samundo, Mario, Yang, you guys want to try the download? Janani? So we need test and deploy as well, right, Brenda, before we can do the download?
Sorry, I missed that, Yuri. What's that?
We need the test and deploy before we do the download, right?
No. Just it's like a download. It's fine for now. Yeah. We can have a test. It's different. Test is nothing but just pushing this to runtime and then kicking off the send action.
Okay, so you're just saying you want the file contents to be downloaded. All right.
Download now. Okay, and then we will try to have that upload functionality in a backend runtime system so that I think we can test very easily.
Okay. So Mundu, Swapnali.
Hello. Hi. It's Swapnali.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Swapnali.
Yeah, we can take this download, zip file download.
Okay.
Hello.
Swapnali, do I sign it to you?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, was there a question?
Can you hear me? It's Marius.
Mario, yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So this would be my first kind of experience with the CDS. So I'm a bit confused of where the code. So is this considered the UI, right? The front end? Because I was looking at the project, what's the name of it? The CDS of the CC SDK, and it's an empty directory. And whereas the appccDT, it's actually, where is the development happening?
So development for CDS is going to CCSDK?
CCSDK in which?
Under CDS, right? So.
Okay, so it's completely empty right now, right?
Right. It's going to basically, we did a prototype, but that prototype, we're changing a lot from that prototype, and we're just starting from scratch, I would say.
All right. And how can
it's basically a new UI. I think we can maybe reuse some maybe backend API calls, runtime APIs that will be made available to us. But the UI is pretty much completely going to be new,
okay.
I would say.
And how can I get the code now to run it locally on my laptop?
Oh, no. The UI code is going to be developed. So the prototype we did, we are trying to see if we can. The prototype we did is not really CDS. It's like internal prototype we had in AT&T. In ONAP, we're building CDS. So CDS will be kind of a new, a new branch of code that we will use and test in Dublin release itself.
Okay. And so if I want to actually do like a simple commit, something just to help me kind of get accustomed, how can I actually approach this?
So we would probably want you to do the commit in the CCSDK CDS branch and test it through that, Marios. So maybe one of the things we do is like partner you with Arisia or Swapnali Samundu. Because they had previous experience of doing code commits, and they can advise in some of that area.
Great, yeah. I delivered some code for the external API in ONAP, but I've never done Angular. I have experience with JavaScript, but not specifically Angular. So yeah, I would love to partner with someone more experienced in this project.
Right, and what we can do, Mario, you can focus, if you like, more on the back-end support, if that's where, you have more experience on than the UI itself.
For me, it's fine. I just the initial concept was to replace Adrian in the front-end UI. But if you think that my abilities will be better suited for, or I can actually, you need more people in the backend, then of course, yes.
Yeah, we can take a look at that. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. For now, what we'll do is just the main point is like understanding the concepts, and then we will assign folks to achieve the small task, independent tasks. And if if it makes sense for you to do UI, we'll put the UI task. But if it makes more sense to do backend, we'll give you a backend task to achieve.
Okay, I'm open to both.
Okay, great. Thanks for the heads up, Mario.
All right, thanks.
All right, so let's see. All right, so we have, let's see. So this is going to be upload. Consideration. Support enrichment functionality for CBA. All right, so we added one more. So this would be, Brenda, this one is iteration 2, we said, right?
Yeah, that iteration.
Okay, what about these other ones, like add, delete, modify CBA content?
Yeah, that we will talk about later. Okay, so I think it's yeah. So we'll discuss in this next.
Okay, next design call. Anything else? Like I see graphical editor with palette support.
That is second iteration. Immediate after this, after once we achieve that, that's our second iteration.
Okay, and do you want to go through all of these and say which one? What else is iteration 1?
Maybe we can do it 2 so that we can drill down, and then we can talk more on that, and then we can tell that iteration 1, 2.
Okay, you want to do it in a separate call?
Yeah, I have other call. I need to join that. Yeah.
Okay. So anything else from this list that needs to go to iteration 1, or
No, 1. This is perfect.
These are for the 5 I think that we have. Okay, I got it. All right. So what we can do is I think our next design call is on Thursday. We don't have a design call for tomorrow. We have one for Thursday, and it's from 9:30 to 11:30. Okay.
And one more thing, just to please do follow my draft commits. Okay, so we pushed a lot of codes also, okay, for a Dublin release, and then you can try to follow the CCSDK apps, okay, and both components and you can refer components, blueprints, blueprint processor, and controller blueprints.
Great. Thank you so much, team, for joining, and I'll send out the recording once it is made available. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.